With local government elections 5 months away, can people exercise their freedom to vote and freely? Professor Ivor Sarakinsky is with us. Prof, you've been discussing other issues with us, and now the main reason why we invited you, we talk about this. So we know that some political parties have been arguing that, first of all, their ability to campaign will be severely constricted. People, they say, will not be able to exercise their rights freely. And the socio-economic circumstances around COVID-19 can actually sway people unfairly because of COVID-19. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm very glad that they've appointed a high-power commission to investigate these issues, to make authoritative findings. So that's a good process. My view is that I think that the elections can go ahead. I don't think that that the COVID restrictions will impact negatively on campaigning, because all one has to do is have masks, sanitizers, and do the outdoor rallies in stadiums and make it clear that people have to have spacing between them. And going door to door, wearing masks and sanitizing is also possible. If people can stand in queues going to the shops, they can stand in queues, they can walk down streets campaigning. And also a lot of the campaigning is done through posters on street lamps, which is perfectly safe in terms of COVID restrictions. So, councillors and candidates can be innovative, using social media in terms of filming themselves in communities, identifying issues that they need to address, and publicizing that through WhatsApp and other social media platforms. So I don't think that it's going to seriously limit free and fair campaigning, and for those reasons, I think the election should go on. But a high-profile panel will make authoritative findings.
Let's look at those terms of reference. How adequate are they for the situation? Obviously, the IEC would have thought about this within the context of the Constitution. But what will determine whether or not everyone has a fair say? And obviously a seasoned jurist in this case, but there are obviously varying political opinions.
Yes, so the Constitution is clear that the election has to take place within a certain time frame, and October is the last reasonable limit in terms of that. If it can't be held, it has to go through a very rigorous judicial process for an extension. And that's good, because we don't want people delaying elections for poor reasons, only for exceptional reasons. And that's why this high panel process is important. Now, political parties will make politics out of this, as opposed to simply presenting a clear and candid view of their position. So if you are on the back foot, if you're taking strain, you would want to buy time to increase the time for campaigning, and you might want to make the case that a postponement is necessary. On the other hand, parties that are doing well, especially in the by-elections, might want to say, let's do it quickly. So I don't think the politics is going to inform the decision in an appropriate way. I think it's quite a technical matter, and it needs to be decided on those grounds.
Most importantly is the role of local government elections. There has been talk in the past of conflating the two national local government elections, but I'd imagine that COVID-19 has also brought to the fore the very important granular issues at provincial and metropolitan municipal levels, just with regards to service delivery, and how the populace is capacitated and serviced by their government. Is this one even more important because of this?
Indeed. So if it's delayed, then it increases momentum towards having one election every 5 years for all three tiers. And I think that would be a poor process. I think that having national provincial elections and then 2 or 3 years after that having local elections is fundamentally important because it allows the specifics of local government issues in communities to come to the fore instead of them being swamped by national politics. And that would dilute the importance of local government should there be just one election. So I would argue that keep them separate. Also, having elections every couple of years is a good way to keep parties and politicians on their toes. Look at the sudden burst of service delivery taking place in some of the metros in South Africa just before the municipal poll. It's a good incentive for getting things done. The more elections, the better, because that's what politicians and parties respond to. If you've got 5 years in between any coming back to the electorate, it means that the chances of even less getting done are very high.
Professor Ivor Sarakinsky, we thank you so much for your time and your insights.